Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, joined here by our senior high school scouting director, Cornell Hunter, and we're looking at the top high school recruiting classes in the country. And we're going to start this list off. Here are the top 15, and Cornell, you graded out your top 15 classes out of all the FBS schools, and this is your top 15. And I just want to ask, which teams stood out to you the most? Which three classes stood out to you the most as having some of the top recruits in the country?
Well, the biggest surprise, first and foremost, would be Ole Miss. These guys, Ole Miss isn't known for pulling stellar recruits. Mississippi is a breeding ground for great athletes, but they tend to lose them to some of the bigger schools. And to see Ole Miss come away with Kondiche was one thing, but then they pulled Laramie Tunsil, who I had graded as the best lineman prospect in the entire country. So not only did they get the top D-line, or a top D-line prospect, they come away with the best offensive lineman. And to steal him out of the backyard of Florida, all of the schools in Florida, to get Tunsil was a great grab. They also got a very special wide receiver as well, so in Treadwell. But to see Ole Miss do what they did, that was pretty surprising. That was one of the biggest surprises out of all of the people that did their recruiting this year.
Well, Hugh Freeze has done an outstanding job, one, coaching, but also now on the recruiting trail with that Ole Miss program. Now, you got Michigan also listed as one of your top schools that did a great job. Talk about their recruiting class.
Well, Michigan, they came away with 4 great offensive linemen. And the thing that topped their class off was not only did they get these great linemen, but then they finished with the running back from Virginia, Derek Green. So to come in with 4 outstanding offensive linemen in one class, and then to top that off with one of the best backs in the country, that puts Michigan in my top 3 as far as overall recruiting classes.
And when you look at back down south, Alabama, the rich just get richer as far as these guys bringing in these top recruits in. How well do they do on signing day?
Hey, we talk about this all the time. Nick Saban just has the pick of the litter. Once again, you can't argue with the results. The guy has 4 championships under his belt in 8 seasons. And, every kid wants to win. You'll come from anywhere in the country to win. And to know that they pulled Reuben Foster, D-Liner, Tim Williams, all of these guys just on the defensive side of the ball. Then you add O.J. Howard on the offensive side of the ball at tight end, and they get another running back. Nick Saban is just laughing because when people say he loses talent, not really, he just replaces them. And they'll have some sophomores playing next year who were true freshmen this year. So it's just the pick of the litter at Alabama. That's why they're top rated in my opinion.
And a lot of those guys on that list were football game plan preseason All-Americans that you had. So it's good to see a lot of these guys to carry out their senior year as highly rated as they were in the beginning of the season. Now, we talk a lot about teams that always have a stable of talent, and one of those teams is the Clemson Tigers. And how well did they do? I see they made your top 15. How well did they do this season as far as National Signing Day is concerned?
Well, in my opinion, I would say that Clemson got the best cornerback in the nation. With this guy, what's his name? Mackenzie Alexander. That's the kid I'm thinking about. Mackenzie Alexander, he is a magnificent tackler, has great ball skills, plays with tremendous confidence. And, Dabo Swinney has been doing a great job recruiting. They didn't finish in the top 10 this year, but in my opinion, they did grab the best cornerback in the country with Mackenzie Alexander.
Now, all these top prospects you have graded and the top recruiting class you have, your top 15, but what if you give the people one player that you think out this entire 2013 class that can make an impact very early as a true freshman, what guy would that be?
And for that, you'd have to go all the way on the West Coast with USC, and it's this kid, Sue Cravens. Cravens, he had the highest grade of any prospect that we graded in this past offseason leading up into this recruiting class. And if Lane Kiffin puts him anywhere, running back, safety, cornerback, the kid is electric. He can run with the best of them. He's a magnificent tackler, ball skills out the wazoo, and just an all-around football player. So that is a kid. I know things are looking a bit down at USC, but that is the kid that I'm most excited about seeing, because just as far as a natural athlete, he can do it all. And I want to see him on the field in a few months. I'm sure he's going to step onto USC's campus and be one of the best players at the school.
And that should be some awesome football being played out west with USC and Sue Craven. So let's take a look at some of your remaining classes that stood out to you as far as the 2013 signing day is concerned.
Okay, well, I had LSU at number 2. They, once again, down south in Louisiana, they keep a stable of athletes, and one of the best players they have, in my opinion, is this cornerback, and Les Miles and the big chief, the defensive coordinator, Chavis, they've been doing a great job cycling in defensive backs. And there's a kid, Gerald Brazil, who I think fits that mold. He's an outstanding jumper, great ball skills. He's a track athlete, but also a football player. So he is one that I'm looking for. And then with the departures that they have in the secondary, I think Brazil will do well. Also, I think Notre Dame, they did a magnificent job. They stole Eddie Vanderdoes from the West Coast, and they also kept Jalen Smith in state in Indiana. So those are 2 kids that I think are going to do great. Florida, I always mention with Fred Taylor's son. I can't wait to see him as well. Calvin Taylor is going to be a magnificent running back, and the running back position has been almost absent in Florida for some time. Not to slight Gillespie, he's been pretty good, but they've been missing a dynamic player at that position. So I can't wait to see him as well. And FSU with Matthew Thomas, the outside linebacker, that's another kid who he's not the biggest in size, but we always say if you watch football, size doesn't matter. If you make plays, you make plays. And Matthew Thomas, he's a ferocious tackler. He's not the biggest, but when he gets there, you go down. And when he sees the ball, he hits the ball. So those are some of the teams that I think did a great job, and I can't wait to see these young guys hit the field.
A lot of talent across this country from top to bottom. That's Cornell Hunter, our high school scouting director. I'm Memory Hunters Are the Playbook, and this was our recruiting roundup. So stay tuned for more high school football coverage on Football Game Plan by visiting our website, footballgameplan.com, and click on the high school section. You can also hit us up on Twitter at FBallGamePlan.